Everyone. So today I thought of starting from the basics. So anyone who is not aware about what is Flutter and how to get started with Flutter, this video is for those guys. And I have already created some around 30 videos on Flutter UIs and some logical handling in Flutter using Firebase and other things. But even now I'm getting to know that if a new person comes to my channel, he don't know how to start with Flutter and what are the steps to set up the Flutter SDK in your ID and which IDs to use basically. So Flutter is generally called as a UI toolkit. It provides SDK which comes with widgets and all the UI libraries which get compiled to mobile, web and desktop. So you can create apps using a single code base. Okay, and then basic three things are preferably what Flutter says is, it says design beautiful apps that are native apps and that also a very in a very good pace you can develop them. So these are the 3 points here. So first is fast development. So basically Flutter uses a Dart language which has ahead of time compilation and which helps in your hot reload and hot restart, so you can develop the apps very fast, or within some seconds you can start the app, and any changes to the app you can see in some milliseconds. So that's how it makes developers more productive while making the apps. Okay, the second is expressive and flexible UI. So this says that you can actually create your UI like you are drawing it on a canvas, and the amount of flexibility while creating the UI is 100%. You can draw or you can create any type of app in Flutter. Okay, if you want to see what you can do, you can see my other videos. You can get an whole overall idea of what you can do with that, and there are other websites where you can go and search for whatever Flutter, whatever applications are already built using Flutter. And the third thing is native performance. So as I said that it creates native apps, so this means that the code which is written in Dart gets actually compiled to the byte code, machine code of that operating system. Like for Android, it gets to ARM64 as well as for iOS. So that's why the performance also is very completely similar to that you get while creating the app in native Android or iOS using Swift or Kotlin or Java or Objective-C. Okay, so the development is fast, as you can see that in this video. Um, it's just hot reload, that you have changed this word from tab to clicked and you just hot reload it and it got changed here. So this is how the fast development is done. And as you can see here, expressive beautiful UIs, this is a Reflectly app. It has won multiple awards on iOS marketplace, and this is a native performance. You can see the animations, beautiful animations here. So now the next point is how to get started with Flutter. Okay, so after you have gone through this whole page, you can directly click on get started, and here you will see install. The documentation is very easy to go through, but I'm going to just go through the process. Okay, so I have done Mac OS setup, Linux setup also I have done, and Windows I have not done. So basically I'm going to show you right now Mac OS. I believe every setup is very easy. So first step is to download the Flutter SDK. Okay, you can go and download it here. These are the requirements, but most of the machines will have, or if they don't have, the terminal is smart enough to suggest you how to get that particular tool. Okay, so this I'm not going to explain. Now this is Flutter. Flutter stable version 1.7 right now. Okay, and once you download this, you will get a zip file like this. Okay, so when I downloaded it was 1.2.1, but right now I have upgraded it and I have 1.7. So that also I will show you how you can upgrade if you already have a Flutter version. So this zip, you have to unzip that and you will get a SDK folder like this. Okay, so once you get this type of folder, you have to actually set a path for this. Now this is setting the temporary path, but if you want to set a permanent path in your environment, you can go to this link, update your path. Okay, and then you can open your bash.profile. So basically let me show you how my bash profile looks. So anyway, cancel, wait a minute. So it won't show here, but text edit. I will open any file for now, and okay, new document, no issues. So I have it in recent. So this is my bash profile, and you can see here my path. So yes, so these are the normal paths that I have. And now after this I have this Flutter SDK bin. So as you can see here, this is Flutter, my SDK, and the bin. So this is the path that you have to set. Then Android path also you have to set, and platform tools path also you have to set. So this is my all over path. Now this is a permanent path. Temporary path you can set up as I showcased you here. Okay, then what you have to do is you can just ignore this point. Now you run this once you have set up the path, you will be able to run the command using Flutter command line tool. So once you write Flutter doctor here, the doctor is basically, it will figure it out how compatible your machine is to run the Flutter version, and what all requirements it requires. It will tell you that whether it is fulfilling it or not. Okay, so basically you can see right marks and one exclamatory mark. So these are the warnings, or you can say the things that are not there, issues to in two categories. So first of all, Flutter. Okay, so channel is my dev. So there are basically 4 channels you can get here. Flutter channel. Okay, so Flutter channel, you can see beta, dev, master, and stable. Right, so basically the dev is the dev, I would say it's just before the stable channel. So you can pinpoint that also in your SDK. If you want to change also this channel, so you have to just write Flutter channel, and you can write stable, and then when you enter it, the repository will point to your stable version. I can show you that. So Flutter GitHub, if you want to go here, I will just remove this Flutter web. Yes, so this is my Flutter repository. I go here, and we have multiple channels here. So beta, dev, master, and stable. So right now in dev we have 1.7 version right now, and in beta, master, there will be different versions. So you can anyways write Flutter upgrade when on this, so it will update your latest update your dev channel to that latest version. Right now it's version 1.7.1. You can directly see here that I downloaded version 1.2.1, but when I write Flutter upgrade, it will update my dev version. So it upgraded 1.7.1. Okay. Then the second is Android toolchain. Yes, it has Android installed, Android setup in this. It has Xcode setup in this. iOS tools are there. I have Android Studio as well as IntelliJ. Now there is a requirement, you have to install the Flutter plugin. Now most of my development is in IntelliJ for Flutter, so I have installed plugins of Flutter and Dart in IntelliJ, not in Android Studio, so I can ignore this warning right now. Then connected devices, it's just a normal thing. I have not connected any device right now. So this is how you can run a Flutter doctor. Okay, now coming back to the our complete page. Update your path, this I have told you. Now the platform setup is basically, you just install, you just put your Flutter path. After that you run your Xcode once, and I can show you that. So basically any Android developer will know that to install the basic tools for Android, even Git is also not working if you're not having Xcode in your machine. So you just create a Xcode, open an Xcode, and create this application. Normal, get started with this. Create a new Xcode project. After this, you will get a project like this. You run it. Okay, and once you have run it, you will get to know that it is running in the simulator. So this will set up your Xcode completely. Even your full Mac will be set up with this, and you can do the development then. To set up for Android, if you're Android developer, you need not to do anything basically. It will be just done completely for you. So now going to the setup editor. See, there are two IDs, basic, Visual Studio Code and Android Studio or IntelliJ. So IntelliJ and Android Studio is based on IntelliJ only. So whatever applies to IntelliJ applies to Android Studio also. You can download any one of them. Basically, I have downloaded community version, and I have Android Studio also. I also have Visual Studio. Yes, I have. So most of the developers find Visual Studio very light, but as I'm an Android developer, I feel very comfortable with IntelliJ. So My setup is completely with IntelliJ right now. But both the setups are easy. I can show you all of them. So I will show you that. Then what you have to do is, let me open the IntelliJ. You go to configure, you go to plugins. This is basic, means if you have no projects here, you can directly go to configure, you can go to plugins, and you can go to marketplace and search for Flutter. Okay, this plugin basically enables you or your IntelliJ to create Flutter apps. Okay, now once you have installed it, I have already installed, so you will already get a Dart plugin with it. Okay, so need not to install that plugin from other sources. When you install Flutter, you already get the Dart plugin. Then you have to restart your IntelliJ, and that's it. Your IntelliJ IDE is now enabled to create Flutter project. Okay, so we will just create a new project now. Okay, so I will name it, this is my location, SDK. I will go to next, and I will name it as video demo symbol or demo app. That would be nice. I will choose Kotlin and Swift. Why I need this? See, every Flutter project has two folders, one for Android and one for other iOS. And Android, whatever language you are comfortable with, you have to select that. In case you want to write some platform specific code, the code will be written in Kotlin for Android, and for Swift, for iOS, it will be written in Swift. Now, this is your package basically. So whatever you name it, it will be named in the specific applications. And module name will be demo app. Yes, so everything is fine. I will create this, I will finish it, and it will take some time to do. After it has done, I will show you the code. Okay, so this is the app that you get when you create the Flutter app. Basically, you have this lib folder where your complete Dart code goes inside. Then you can also have where to put your images basically. So you can go to new and create a new folder wherein you can put assets. Okay, and then you can put your fonts inside it. That can be another folder. So you can have fonts or images, right? So let me take it out one image from the net. Okay, suppose this is the image. I can download it, save image as, and desktop image. That's it. Okay, this image I can copy and put inside my images folder. Now later we will use this image in our project. I'm not going to show you very hard UI. Some basic widgets I will be covering. So I will be explaining you what are widgets and what this code means to you actual. And yes, so to start with, I will show you what is this pubspec.yaml. Basically, it's your uh, build file that wherein you give your language, Dart language version, you give your app version, okay, you give your app name, app description, okay, you tell where what Flutter you are using in this project, so you are telling that here. Then these are the libraries that you will use. Now when I say libraries, these are nothing but plugins and packages. So to find more plugins and packages, you can go to dart uh, .dev or pub.dev. So this is a Dart publication wherein you will have many Dart libraries, plugins, and packages. So it doesn't load very quickly. So by that time, I will show you the other things. So you have dev dependencies wherein you have Flutter test as well. So to write test cases, you will need this. Then inside Flutter, you are saying that you are going to use material design, which will actually help with the icons that are already there. So icons, as in you have this whole set of material icons. Plus you also have Cupertino icons. So you have done that as a dependency. Then to set the images path, you have to uncomment this. So let me do it right now. So this is the assets, and just just uncomment this thing, and inside it is inside your assets images, and you have this. If you don't put anything here, it will take all the images which are inside the images folder. Okay, so now if you go to your main.dart, you will see a nice yellow box here. It will come just in a moment, because since we have modified our prospect.yaml, it should say that your perfect file is modified, so you need to run a command. Yes, so that command is flutter packages get. Okay, so this command will actually update your dependencies, and it just took 0.5 seconds. So the warning is gone, and now you can easily use that image in your project. So whenever you are changing some things in the pubspec.yaml, you should write flutter packages get or flutter packages upgrade. Okay, anyways, if you don't want to type, you can click any of this link, right? This will upgrade your version, and this will, as I showed you, Flutter Doctor will run everything and check whatever compatibility issues of the machine. Okay, then yes, later on for fonts also you can do something like this, wherein you can give font family, you can give the font name, and this fonts will again be in a folder called fonts. Okay, then you have to change the path assets/fonts/ this font. Okay, so this is about bobswag.yaml. Now let's see what our app is. So the first line is import statement, which is just importing the material theme, material widgets, I would say. Okay, which is under Flutter package. Then you have this main method, which is the entry point of your Flutter code or any Dart program. Then that Dart program is running your my app. This my app is your main entry point for the UI. Okay, so it extends a stateless widget. Now I will tell you what is a stateless widget. Basically, stateless widget is you can consider it as a Android custom view that you can give a final value to it, and it will never change whatsoever. Okay, you have to again reinitialize it so that it takes a new value. Okay, this is a stateless widget, so it doesn't hold any state. Whatever you put inside it will be rendered on the screen. But stateful widget has a state. It has some variables. So state is nothing but a data about the view, about the widget. So whenever that data about the widget changes, it should be inside a stateful widget. That widget should be a stateful widget. Okay, so let me remove the comments first of all. Okay, control command R space. Okay, I forgot that. Okay, never mind. So let me remove all the comments so that the code becomes little bit more easy to read. If you want to understand more about stateful, you can go through these comments. They are explaining the things very easily, and that will also give you a good explanation and will create a habit for you to read through the comments, to read through the documentation of Flutter, because Flutter doc is very neatly written and it serves your purpose beautifully. So I have removed all the comments. Now let's see the architecture. So to see the architecture, you can go to Flutter outline. As you can, you know why this Flutter outline is there, because you have installed a Flutter plugin. Okay, so this is my app. In this app, I have a build method wherein I have a material app. This is a widget. Then I have a home, my home page. Okay, so this is my Flutter outline. Now let me run it. I will open an iOS simulator and let's see what is the output. And while looking at the output, it will be easier to tell you which component is what. Okay, so it will not take much time. It's probably opened, yes, so its size is very big. Let me just reduce it to this much. Okay, so now I'm running the app, and you just see how much time it takes to run the app on iOS simulator. Okay, maybe 10 to 12 seconds it will take, because it's first time installing the app inside my simulator. So as you can see, it is running your Xcode build. Anyways, two more things. One is the iOS folder, other is the Android folder. So this Android folder contains this complete Android project. If you right click on this, you will have a beautiful option to open this module in Android Studio. So directly this module itself you can open in the Android Studio. If you want to go to iOS folder, you have this option to open it a Xcode. So whatever is platform specific thing you have to do, you can do it with going to this folder. Now this is the output. Basically, this whole app is material app, which has a title Flutter demo, but that title is not doing any good to me, so I can remove it and I can run it again. So it is not doing any changes. And the theme, so the primary swatch is colors.blue. If I change to colors.green, it will change whole my app theme. Okay, so to there are two icons here. First is hot reload, which you can run by command backslash, and then is the hot restart, command backslash command shift backslash. So what this hot reload will do is it will keep your state and it will update only the UI. Okay, but if you do hot reload, it will reset your state. So whenever you are using stateful widgets and you have changed some state, you should do hot restart. Okay, anyways, this is my home page. Now see, the basic widget is material app basically. Then you have this homepage. Homepage is again a stateful widget, and you have passed in a title as the parameter to it, and you are storing that title in the string. This title is being used here, widget.title. Okay, so let me explain you whole this tree of widgets. So when I go to Flutter Inspector, another beautiful tool inside the Flutter plugin. So I have this material app, then my homepage. My homepage basically has a scaffold. Okay, so scaffold contains many things, like you have app bar, which is this thing, you have your body, which is complete this part, and then you have floating action button, which is this thing. Okay, so if I remove this, if I comment this and I am doing hot reload, this goes. Okay, if I uncomment, this again comes. Okay, so this is the thing. Then you have this app bar wherein you have multiple things. And before that, scaffold has many more things. It has bottom sheet, it has drawer. Basically you can draw a drawer here, navigation drawer. It has end drawer, which will come from the right hand side. Okay, it has I would say persistent footer buttons, which will be here all the time. And yes, of course, background color. So right now background colors whatsoever it may be, you can directly make it red. Okay, so this is how you can do it. And yes, so basically app bar, again coming to the app bar widget, it also has a background color. This background color is default from the theme, but if I want to change only this thing, it will change. And my theme is again green, but my app bar color is changed. So this is how you can change the, I would say, configuration of the widget. These all are the configurations of the widgets. Like it has elevation. So right now you can see there is some elevation. You can give elevation as 0. So the elevation is gone. Okay. And then there are multiple things. Anything you can apply. You have this leading. So leading basically is a widget. So okay, let me introduce one more widget, which is called icon. And then you can have multiple icons from the material package. Icons dot. You have these many icons already there in the Flutter SDK. So I will use this map, and if I run it, you can see there is a map here. Okay, so this is how you can do everything. Next is very basic. I want to explain you how the body works. So this body has a center widget. When I go to Flutter Inspector, clicking on this, so this center widget completely centers your child. Okay, so this is the column, which is taking complete height. Then there are two elements in the column. First one is the text, second is the second text. So this is how you can highlight it. Then there is an app bar, and these two things I have explained already. So this is very basic thing, and you can actually navigate to any of the widget while clicking on this as well. So this is how you can navigate between multiple widgets. Okay, so next is I want to show you the whole logic, what it does basically. So whenever I click on this plus button, it changes the value of this, and this means that the state of this widget is getting changed. So this is a beautiful example of a stateful widget. So this happens like this. What happens is when I click on the floating action button, which is a widget, I this also have multiple multiple configurations of it. So yes, so there is a method, there is a configuration on pressed, which actually takes in a function. this function, you can go here directly, and this is a function wherein you can increase the value of your counter. Okay, so this counter's value increases from 0 to 1, and it is called inside set state, so which actually fires a query to this widget to rerun. Okay, to this widget to rerun, and it will change this value when the widget is rerun or the set state is called. This build method gets called again completely, and I can prove it. So I'm just writing build here. So let's see how many times this build method will be called. So as you can see, 2 times already, then 1, again it called, then 2, every time it is getting called. So now this, whenever this build method is getting invoked again and again, it basically changes the value of this second text, that is 2. So this, it has a text value counter, and this is just a theme of that. So this counter gets updated every time, and this is how you use variables. So my underscore counter is a variable. If I want to put it inside single quotes, double quotes, I have to use dollar. Okay, so this is how you do it. Let me give you a small example of a small explanation of stateful widget. So whenever you want to create a stateful widget, let me just write it. You write stateful, or you write STF and enter. So you have this complete architecture. So you can write home, and this is how a stateful widget is created. So basically, home extends a stateful widget which has a method create state. This returns a state that extends the state of your widget. Okay, and this has the build method. Okay, now this is about the stateful widget. Let's see stateless widget. So when I create a stateless widget, this home, it has only one method and there is nothing additional to it. It also has a build method. So state and stateless widget have a build method. Okay, fine. So I have done my basic explanation. Now I'm going to remove this home page, making it stateless widget. So I'm going to completely remove everything from here. So this will show me an error. So I will create a demo page now, which will have a small title, just title. Okay, and you can basically do this, or you can go out of this class, create a stateless widget and demo page. Okay, so now you have container. Now this is my first widget. One second, let me remove it. Okay, and let us give a title, demo page. Okay, and let me run it again. So nothing is there. Yes, nothing will be there because container is having nothing here. So let us add some color to it. Colors.green, and let's run it. So now my container is completely green. Okay, but it's a good thing to do everything inside a scaffold because we are following material theme here. But without this also, I'm going to explain you. Let's wrap it inside a scaffold because it's not good idea if I'm directly telling you to create an app without a scaffold, because it's not recommended right now. So scaffold has a body widget and it has a container. Purpose will be same, color is green. Okay, purpose is completely same, running complete code will be same because there is no app bar, so we don't have any app bar. Now suppose you have a app bar. Okay, this app bar, and you have a title called app bar. Okay, app bar has so this title is again a widget, I would say, text. So another widget that is very handy is the text widget, which only draws the text. Okay, one sec. So it only draws a text, app bar. Okay, then you run it. Sorry. Okay, now you run it and you have this green. I want to remove this color green. I will make it gray. So you have these multiple colors, complete list of colors already there in the material. So I'm taking teal out of it. Okay, so I have this title now. This app bar, okay, this is just formatting. So you can format it using command Alt L. Okay, fine. So now I want to explain you safe bar, safe area. So this container can be inside safe area, I would say. And let's see, yes, so this is how right now nowadays you have this notch and this bottom also. So it is better to wrap this inside safe area. Okay, and if you want to remove this bottom, so you can make it as false. So you don't want safe area in the bottom, so you can do this. Okay, if you want at the if you don't want at the top, you can probably do this, but it's not reflecting right now because you can replace this and wrap this complete inside safe area. Let's see how it goes. So this is how it is. Now you are seeing this black and you don't want to see the black color. So basically you can go to color, sorry, you can go to canvas color inside your theme, canvas color, and you can directly do it green again. So it's not doing anything, but it used to do. Anyway, removing this safe area. So next is, okay, so now let's talk about basic widgets, very common widgets that are used very often. Okay, so container I have talked about, text widget I have talked about to you, but let us see how text widget actually have many configuration parts. Okay, so text directly requires you data which you can pass in like some text. Okay, then you have multiple things here. So you have a style wherein you can give a text style to it, where you can give color. So color can be white in this case. Then you can give font size or font weight, right? So let us run it and see. So this is my text is. Since it has a background, so that's why it looks like this. Um, Now make it 26. Okay, now if you want to center it, so what you will do is you will wrap this container inside a center widget, and this will come in the center. One a short trick I will tell you. You go to your Flutter outline, you select your container. If you want to center it, you select this icon. It will add in the code, and then we will run it. Okay, now what we will do is we will remove the center. Let's see another widget that is called column. Okay, you might be wondering how this menu is coming. So you just need to do Alt Enter and some suggestions will come. So you add a column, and a column basically takes multiple widgets inside it. So container is one of them. If I repeat it like this, sorry, so now it has two containers. I will add three, sorry, I will add four containers. Okay, and let's see the output. So my output is something like this. Okay, this is a column, but I want to lay out the code in I would say one second. Yes, I want to do it in a horizontal way. So what you will do is you will wrap it inside row. Okay, now you have seen this error. Okay, this is a very famous and common error. So what happens is just read the error. Render flex overflowed by 82 pixels on the right. So what happened is it tried to draw on the screen, but by 82 pixels it could not draw basically. So what you will do is in these scenarios you can wrap inside a single child scroll view. Okay, and then this error okay, now what happens is the single child scroll view is creating your content, making your content scrollable, but by default it has a vertical direction. So you have this axis which is called scroll direction. So here you have to do it horizontal. Okay, so now the error is gone, plus this content becomes scrollable. Now you might be wondering, man, this is iOS. What happens if I run it Android? In Android, this type of physics, this type of scrolling behavior is not there. So you have something called physics, scroll physics. So you make it as clamping scroll physics, and then you run it. Now if you want to scroll, it won't go more than. Okay, it will not be a bubble effect. Okay, so I'm removing this. So we have understood column, we have understood row, we have understood single child scroll view. Now let's talk about some buttons. Okay, let me make it column so that we can see everything. Okay, so this is column. Now I am adding a button to it. Now there are multiple buttons. You have a flat button. Okay, then you have a raised button, right? You have a material button, I guess. Yes, you have that. Then you have Cupertino button also, right? So these type of buttons are there. Let's implement Cupertino button. Cupertino button needs again a child, which should be a text widget ideally, and you can say it Cupertino button, right? And what else it requires? It requires on pressed. So on pressed is this is a method being passed to it, so we can print that Cupertino button pressed. Okay, and let's run it. Now if you go to run command, when I click on this button, it is saying Cupertino button pressed, and this is how the UI looks. Very basic thing is you can convert this to material button very easily, because the architecture of all the buttons is very same. So this button became like Cupertino button. Okay, and you can also make it a raised button. Again, no issues. So it became a proper material button. Okay, then it can be a outline button, right? So it has some outline. I think you can change the outline also, maybe. Okay, not now. So then you have this flat button, okay, which looks normally like this. Okay, you have one variant of this, even everything. So you can add icon also. Now in this case, a child is not required. What is required is the icon and the label. So my child became label now, and icon again, icon, icons dot anything you can use. So this is the icon. Okay, so this is how this button is looking now, right? Same thing can be happened with raised button also. You have raised button dot icon, so this is how it will look. Now instead of this icon, see, it takes a widget, so we will use a image now. Okay, so image dot asset, you can add any image like this. You have to give the path. So my path is inside assets, inside images, and android.png. Okay, so this is how we will implement images slash android.png, right? And this is the size of, nothing can be done. So what we have to do is we have to give a size to it, or width 20, 40, and height as 40. Let's see. So this is how images are included in the button. Fine. So the next comes is padding. Suppose we will again go to this some text, and I'm minimizing it. So this container uh, eventually has a padding configuration. So padding configuration can be written like this: edge insets dot all. So everywhere from all the directions, top, left, bottom, right, you can give 10 points of padding. If I run it, see, the padding is there. Now there is a padding widget also for same purpose. Okay, but padding cannot take color. So if you need to apply color, you need to wrap it inside a container. Basically remove this padding from um, what I'm remove this padding and replace it with container. So now I am taking a container. Okay, container also has margin. Same margin you can copy. So it will take some margin. Okay, so this is about container. I'm just telling about the basic things. Okay, now you can have a card also. This is again a material card. So this material card can have a child can be our button. I'm just copying it. So this is how you can create the UIs, and elevation is 40. Let's check. So this is how the card is there. Card has a color also. Colors dot what should I take? Cyan. Yes, and let me remove it so that there is, yes. So this is my card. Inside this card I have this. So now what I can have is I can have a margin for this card, and that margin can be seen. So I'm just playing around some widgets, trying to explain you what widgets are there, how you can use them. Okay, so you can wrap this, or you can wrap this child, sorry, you can basically wrap this child in some padding so that um, there is a card that you can see. So this is the card, okay, and it has a beautiful shape also, and shadow also, right? So now what you can do is, so this is how card is done. Card has many more properties, like it has shape, and it yes, basically has everything. Elevation is there, so elevation can be 0 also, so it will look like this, okay, right? Okay, fine. Then after card, we'll come to one basic thing, which is called opacity. Let me remove everything. Let us just take one container, or let's wrap the second container in a widget called opacity. Suppose you don't want to show a widget due to some conditions, due to some uh, on some selections you want to remove it. So opacity basically takes a opacity value, okay. Opacity 1 means it is completely visible, no changes will be there, but if it is 0, it will be hidden, but it will take the space. So this is how you can do it. Whatever value you are giving, it will give some transparency to it, okay. Then you have a list view. Now instead of column, I can give a list view, and it works pretty much same. There are no changes, but it will give us some issues, because list view is inside already having a, it's already having a parent, which is, you know, was scrollable. So there were two scrollable contents. So this is how my complete list will there. If I increase this multiple times, let's see if it scrolls. Basically what I need to do is, I should add one sized box. Is another one beautiful thing which just adds some space. So a height of 500, and it will be added. So this space is sized box, and this is scrollable, right? Now there is a beautiful thing here. You can, with one line of code, you can make this list view um, vertically scrollable to horizontally scrollable, and this is how it is done. Now this is like this, see this? So this is how it's done, okay. You might be wondering why it is taking complete height, because container by default takes whole height or whole width depending on in which direction it is rendered, okay. Then yes, I think I am done with all of these. So this is the end of the guys video. This is the end of the video, guys. So I have shown you some basic widgets. In the next chapter, maybe I'll try to elaborate more on each of the widgets, but using these widgets, at least you can start going through the creation of basic UIs. And yes, there is a lot more to teach in this, but the guys who have never started Flutter can definitely look for this video, and take it as a starting step. And especially for you guys, please let me know what else and how in other way you can ask me to means what should I explain you in this series at least, because this is completely on demand, because I don't know how people start, but I started in this way. So this will be a very good starting point for you guys, okay. So yes, that's it for this video. And yes, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. So thank you, bye.